from where we left off last time. Izu Ugonoh is fighting Dominic Breazeale on quite a big stage on the Deontay Wilder undercard towards the end of the month. This is exactly the right sort of fight. If I was a matchmaker, this would be the perfect opponent I would choose for Izu Ugonoh. What do you think about that, Kevin?
Look, I think it's definitely a step up. It's a fight that Izu really likes. It's a challenge that he needs at this stage of his career. When he joined my team a little over 2 years ago, he's had 8 fights with me in the last 2 years for 7 devastating knockouts, and none of Izu's knockouts have just been a knockout. They've always been sensational. It's a guy who's very athletic, very explosive, hits extremely hard, and he's been fighting well within himself. So, we've been looking for a challenge for a fight that will put Izu into a position of notice by the boxing world. And when this opportunity presented itself, Izu jumped at it with open arms.
Well, this has kind of coincided with him signing with Al Heyman, so that's obviously played a big part in him getting on these sort of PBC shows.
Most definitely. I've had him fighting down in New Zealand for Duco, and sort of a couple of people dropped the ball, and Izu's co-manager Rich Moriarty decided that Izu was being held back and wanted to give him a vehicle to fulfill his potential, and he thought that the right hookup was PBC and Al Heyman, and hence here we are fighting February 25, the Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama.
And as a trainer, Kevin, I was lucky enough to speak to him yesterday. I know he lives with you and your family. It sounds like you guys have more than just a working relationship. What sort of route would you like to see him go down? Obviously, he's on the Deontay Wilder undercard. Is that a fight down the line maybe you think it would be best for him, or he's quite highly ranked in the IBF as well?
Yeah, look, I tell you what, obviously fighting in the co-main behind Deontay Wilder and fighting a fighter of the caliber of Dominic Breazeale, somebody who just performed very, very well in his first loss against Anthony Joshua. If Izu can get a good win here and get the attention of the boxing public. And this is his first fight on American TV, and we're looking for it to be an explosive fight. And I really need Izu to be at his best for this fight. We've had a tremendous training camp. He's shown me the best work that I've seen. Yeah. It's a guy who is a tremendous athlete, a very intelligent fighter, a very explosive fighter, and I need all these tools and weapons to be on display. And if they are on display, and we get the devastating performance that I believe we will have, then that'll put us on a short list to fight Deontay Wilder. There is no doubt about that. And you look at the way that they have the way they've matched Deontay in the last couple of years, mainly fighting PBC fighters. So a good performance here will put Izu at the top of that short list.
Oh, very, very exciting for Izu. As I said, I was lucky enough to speak to him yesterday. What do you see in Dominic Breazeale as an opponent? He fought Anthony Joshua and took him a few more rounds than people expected, and was a bit more awkward than people expected. What are you guys expecting from Dominic?
Well, look, we have a lot of respect for Dominic, and I've watched a lot of his fights, and he's a big, strong guy. He's got good amateur pedigree. He has the experience. He's fought better quality opposition than Izu has. Coming off his first loss against Anthony Joshua, he would have gained valuable experience from that fight. So, he is, he's a big, strong athletic guy that is going to be a difficult fight, and it's a fight that we have a very good game plan in place, and a game plan that Izu needs to follow to the T. And if he does, I think we'll be okay. But this is a big task, and it is by far the biggest test that we've put in front of Izu during his professional career.
One thing I was going to ask is, obviously he's saying he hasn't really fought anyone of note yet. We saw Dominic Breazeale was reasonably slippery against Anthony Joshua. How do you think Izu Ugonoh will deal with that? If this could possibly be one of those fights where everything's not going to go his way. I was speaking to him. He seemed like a very intelligent guy and very grounded guy. How do you think he's going to deal with those issues in the ring?
Well, I tell you what, the big difference for me. That is the great equalizer in the fact that we haven't fought the same caliber as opponents, that Izu hasn't been tested like Dominic has, and probably doesn't have the experience that Dominic has, is the fact that, Izu sparred over 200 rounds in the gym with Joseph Parker. Now, when you talk about, slippery, skillful fighters, Joseph Parker is right at the top of that list. Good point. Yeah. And Izu and Joe work very, very well together. In fact, during my 4 years with Parker, the best work that we've ever had is working with Izu. And I attribute a lot of Joseph Parker's success, the guiding us to the heavyweight title, from having Izu as a training partner, as a man that they both live in my house. We're a family together. Cool. The two of them have made each other better, and Joe's had the opportunities, and he's been on the big stage now, and he's picked up a world title. And we all believe that this is Izu's time. This is his opportunity, and he's been patient. He's been quietly waiting, learning and developing his craft, and waiting for an opportunity to stake a claim as one of the best up-and-coming heavyweights in the world.
Yeah, well, one thing that's quite interesting, he's a former kickboxing world champion, so that will to compete and be the best at what you do, that was kind of already there when you met him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, look, when Izu came to me, he had 9 fights in Poland, and I signed him to a management agreement. I put a good team around him, and brought him in my home, and he's. I've overseen his career for the last 2 years. Look, not only was he a world kickboxing champion, he played first division football. In Dancing with the Stars in Poland last year, yeah. He got down to the last couple. He's a very, very talented natural athlete. And there's not too much that this young man can't do. And he's a very intelligent guy. Izu can do things that other fighters can't. He has a tremendous selection of weapons, and he can hit you on both sides of the head and both sides of the body. He's a tremendous body puncher, one of the very best body punchers in the heavyweight division. So, I know what he's capable of. I know the tools that he possesses. But this is a big challenge for us, and he hasn't been in a position like this with this sort of pressure on him. So, there's a lot of things that we're going to find out about Izu Ugonoh on the 25th of February. But if what I've seen in the last 2 years is anything to go by, here's a guy who is just dying to become a star in boxing.
One thing you said there, you said he was playing first division football. What, was that in Poland?
He played football in Poland. He went to, I believe, France and tried out with a team there.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't realise that.
The guy is very talented.
Yeah, very interesting. We're very, very excited about Izu Ugonoh. I think everything. When I first spoke to you, end of last year, things have really accelerated with Izu Ugonoh, signing with Al Heyman, getting this fight against Breazeale, Deontay Wilder undercard. Things couldn't have gone better since I spoke to you for him.
No, it's definitely it's opened the door. Now it's just up to Izu to actually jump through that door and say, hey, look at me, I'm here. So, it's going to all come up to this performance on the 25th. we know that he has all the other attributes. Like he's a great-looking guy. He's got a very impressive body. He's charismatic. He's very intelligent. He has a master's degree. So look, he has all the tools to become a superstar. Plus, he's a very exciting fighter who hits extremely hard. So I'm excited about this opportunity. Izu's excited about it, and hopefully, come the 26th, a lot of people will see a devastating performance and see a new star be born.
A great opportunity. Well, moving on from Izu, we spoke before about Umar Salamov, who's the IBO light heavyweight champion. When did this relationship first start with Salamov?
Well, Umar's manager Kazbek brought him to me last year, and he did a long training camp with me just prior to the fight against your Commonwealth champion.
Oh, Bob Adjusef. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just, unfortunately, that particular fight fell the same day as I had a fight scheduled for Joseph Parker in New Zealand, so I couldn't be in two places at the one time. Yeah. But, since then, both guys, both the manager and Umar, have stayed in close contact with us. Very excited about coming back, and he wants to start making a permanent base here in America, training with me and campaigning out of America. Now, this is a young guy at the age of 21, 6'3", is a very exciting prospect in the light heavyweight division, and I'm looking forward to spending some quality time with him and working on the strengths that he has and just developing his skills a little more to the professional game.
Well, It looks very impressive. He's sort of been fighting mainly in Russia recently. What's kind of your short-term plan for him at the moment? I know. Obviously, you want to get your work underway first, but he says he wants to move to America. Can this guy make an impact on the light heavyweight division worldwide? With your Andre Wards, Kovalevs, and Adonis Stevensons. I'm not saying straight away, but one day can he push those guys?
If I didn't believe that he had the ability to go all the way to the top, I really wouldn't be looking to work with him. He's another fighter who will be moving into my house.
Oh, right. So you've got them all in there.
And I don't just move anyone into my house. I've got to actually really believe in the person. And the camp that I spent with him before, he's a first-class young man, a lovely, respectful guy who fitted in very well with Joseph Parker and Izu Ugonoh. He developed a very close friendship with my son Taylor, who works for my business.
Yeah.
So we believe that Umar Salamov sometime this year will be recognized as one of the top guys in the light heavyweight division.
Well, he's already got the IBO title, which is it's not the biggest title, but it's I've had the chairman of the IBO on before, so that's a good starting point for him, and that gives him some sort of, when people look at him and opponents look at him, there's a reason to fight him.
Yeah, look, I tell you what, it was definitely a good stepping stone for him. But it also restricts you a little bit, and I think we're going to be looking into, to open up Umar in the other rankings as well.
Yeah. Okay. And go on, carry on. Sorry, Kevin.
No. I just it's 6'3", light heavyweight with power and skills and heart. Is exciting for me, and I think. I think, Umar, our biggest thing that we'll be working on is, and I've said this to Kazbek, as soon as we get him back, we've got to get him. I had my wife teaching him English last time, but we're going to get him in an English school, and I want him speaking English because, I think the future is very, very bright for Umar Salamov, and I want him to be a star here, and to be a star here, you've got to be able to speak English.
Yeah, well, no, whatever country you go to, you need to speak the local language. So that's all very exciting, what you've got going on. And one thing, I hope, well, if anyone tried to break into your house, there'd be in a lot of trouble. So You've got
Yes, no, it would be a good thing to stay away from my house.
Well, anyway, it's been brilliant to have you on, Kevin. Great to find out what's going on with all your fighters. Is that the three guys you're working with at the moment? Are you working with anyone else?
Yeah, no, that's my team at the moment. I've got a couple other guys that I've been in negotiations with for a while. I don't really want to say at the moment.
Of course, yeah.
But talented young fighters who I get a lot of offers, and as you can imagine, after the 4 years with Parker and people seeing what I've done with him, I've got a lot more offers.
Yeah.
So we may take. I like keeping a small team. I think when I have a small team, it gives me total control where I can oversee everything, every part of their life. And I'm also very cautious that they have to have their own lives as well, so they also get an enormous amount of privacy. But when I say overseeing, I'm talking about the training. Most of these guys are training 3 times a day. My wife prepares tremendous meals for them. They're on the good vitamin and supplement programs. We have a lot of other add-on pieces with, psychologists and yoga instructors and ice treatments and neuromuscular work. And it's not just your normal go into the boxing gym and hit the bag and line up again tomorrow. There's a little bit more thought put into it than what you would think. That's why I'm getting results with guys, because we have a very professional program.
Yeah, it sounds very, very elitist. It sounds very impressive, which is can only be good for your fighters, and the results don't lie. So that's great. Well, anyway, brilliant for having you on, Kevin, and hopefully we can get you on very soon, mate.
Always my pleasure, Adam. Great to talk to you, mate.